A new patent came about. A new patent came to surface, right, from Apple in regards to a flip style phone. So this new patent surfaced, and it basically suggests Apple's working on a flip style foldable device. So it would look like a Z Flip 5, the alligator mouth style flip phone, the StarTAC, Motorola StarTAC style flip phone. Not the one that opens up like a book, but the iPhone. So it'll be an iPhone flip, basically, right? I don't know what kind of name they're going to put on it. I'm assuming I doubt they're going to use the name Flip. Samsung's got that. It'll probably be named who knows what, right? But this is the very, very first step in the process of making a foldable device. Whether it's a phone, iPad, MacBook. Well, MacBooks are foldable, but you get the idea. They've toyed around. So we've discussed numerous times, and this is kind of surprising because the last story we got is that Apple scrapped their foldable tech. Basically, not scrapped it, threw it in the trash, but scrapped it and put it on the shelf, basically, for future endeavors for in the future, because they were having issues with the crease in the screen. So when the device is closed, it's obviously closed like an alligator mouth, right? But when you open it, when it's fully opened to look like this, right, there is a small crease that goes right across the hinge, right across the screen, right where you fold it. Now, it's gotten a little less intrusive. It's gotten a little less noticeable, ever so slightly, every single year, at least for Samsung. Samsung are the OGs when it comes to foldables. They've been in the game. They've had foldables. They've been designing foldables. I know they're only on their 6th gen. They're about to release the Flip 6 and Fold 6 here in a couple months. But remember, designing these takes years. So Samsung's got a good 10 years of foldable history under their belt, meaning basically 6 years of devices and another 3-4 years of developing this, right? This tech. So it makes me wonder, did Apple finally design a hinge that shows zero crease when completely open? It looks like to me that they did, because if they were so stuck on having zero crease when open so much, look, they poured millions upon millions of dollars in the R&D, research and development of foldable devices. We've seen leaks, we've seen renders. Apple had a foldable iPad in the works, and they had a foldable iPhone in the works. And they basically, as I mentioned earlier, put it on the shelf because of the crease. Makes me think that they finally found the solution. They finally designed a hinge and a screen that shows zero crease when folded open. If that's the case, they beat Samsung, they beat Google, well, basically Samsung, because even the Pixel Fold, I believe Samsung makes the panel. I'm not sure who makes the hinge. I think Google designed the hinge, I believe, but Samsung provides the panels, foldable panels, right? So it makes me wonder, I think, if this is true. Now, could Apple just put in a patent even though there's still a crease, right? Could they basically planning for the future, could they put this patent in just to basically, it's kind of like buying a .com before a certain .com becomes popular, right? If I know there's this company that's going to come out with a mystuffynose.com, I'm going to go ahead and buy mystuffynose.com real quick so they can't use it, because I plan on coming out with a My Stuffy Nose product, right? Same kind of thing with Apple. Maybe they threw this patent in there knowing that they're really, really close to making a flat panel when open, They're just maybe a year or two away. But they want to keep these patents. These patents are good for, I believe, 15 years. I believe. Medicine, FDA, I believe, is 7 years. And products, physical products, I believe, is 15 years. I believe. Don't mark me on that. But it would be an advantage for Apple if they think they're close to go ahead and get a patent on this, so they can use it in the future, right? Plus, they could also lease the technology, lease this patent out to other companies so they can use a flat panel hinge, so to speak, and they would have to obviously pay Apple to use that technology in their products. Motorola Razr has the least noticeable crease on all flips on the market right now. You know what? I don't think I've ever seen one in person. I'm trying to think. They've never sent me one, and I've never bought one. So I know I probably haven't seen one. Now, unless I'm trying to think if I went to a Best Buy at one point. I might have seen it, but I know I haven't. I don't think I have in person. If that's the case, they may be close as well, right? But I'll take your word for it. If they have the least amount of creasing when open, that's surprising. Although Motorola, as you know, they've been manufacturing phones since the very beginning. So I do know when they were purchased by Google, probably about 5 years ago, Google basically purchased Motorola for the patents to use on their technology moving forward. Same thing with HTC. When Google started the Pixel division, coming out of the Nexus line, they actually purchased the quote-unquote Pixel division from HTC. So, meaning there was a division inside HTC. They actually had, I can't remember the name of the HTC device, but it kind of looked like the very first Pixel. Google purchased that department and basically all their patents in that was specific to that department, to that phone. So, but nonetheless, right, Motorola's been in the game forever, right? Yep, that's true. It mentions a system environment, mentions things. Interesting. So, let's see. I believe this upcoming foldable with Samsung, these two models, the Flip 6 and the Fold 6. Again, I believe the crease will improve, meaning will get less noticeable. But it won't. I guarantee you it's not going to be completely gone, right? And look, that has a lot to do with two things. When you want to eliminate that crease, just in the engineering of the phone, it involves the hinge and then the display. So the hinge matters on how it opens and closes, obviously, and then display matters with the foldable, obviously the foldable display, right? But imagine how many prototypes Apple, Samsung, Motorola have gone through, right? So I'm sure they've spent endless amounts of hours, millions of dollars, trying to solve this problem. I think, look, if Apple has this right, it's going to fly over a lot of people's heads, and you'll see it mentioned here or there on a YouTube review of iPhone flip. Wow, and look, no crease. But I think it's a bigger deal than that. This will open up the foldable segment. This will open up the floodgates. A lot of people are just look, foldables are really cool. I love them. Fragile. But the screen, when you use a foldable, it's plastic. So it doesn't give you that traditional glass feel, right? It does not give you that traditional glass feel. It does feel like you're using a plastic device. I can look past that, but I know a lot of people cannot. Let's see. It looks like we did get a picture here. So let's look at this hinge, right? Let's see. Can I make this bigger? Can I make Let me save this. Hang on. Let me open this up. Let me save it behind the scenes real quick, and I'll open it up to a bigger, so we can see better. Let me go to Canva. Let me upload this. But it shows you right there, and that's the one thing I was looking at concerning the screen and that hinge right there, right? There we go. Okay, so let me save this, and then I'll put it up here on the big screen. Hang on one second. Got it. Okay, so let me go to brand. Let me put this on the big. Oh, that's me. Oh, here we go. I got it. Okay. So here we go. Sorry about that delay. So we have the display basically on the left. That's what, you know, it's a rectangle shape, kind of in the generic shape of a phone on the left. And then you have the hinge here on the right. Now, it doesn't look all that different from the other hinges with the naked eye. This is my very first time seeing it. Is with y'all guys. The first thing I notice, I mean, look, a hinge is a hinge, right? It basically folds over from a 90, what, almost 180 degrees, correct? So it's going to have to bend, going to have to flex, but look at the links, right? A hinge with links. Now, well, look, this just came out before I was going to say, if I had all day to research this, I was going to pull up the mock-up of a Google Pixel Fold hinge, and then I was going to then I'll put together a picture of the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 5 hinge and see, because I don't believe those hinges with the Pixel and the Samsung have links. See where it says a hinge with links under figure 2 on the top right? So I'm assuming that helps with stress on this display when it is opened up. Very interesting. Let me see. You know what? I can almost guarantee you Samsung and Google do not have quote-unquote links in their hinges. I can almost guarantee you that. I was gonna pull up. Let's do this. Let's see if we can pull up pictures of the hinge for the Z Fold 5. Can we get this one? Where are we at? Okay, so look. This one... Sorry. Here we go. This is the Z Fold 5. Now, I don't think they're changing hinges, meaning the foldable part under the screen for the upcoming Z Fold 6 that's going to be released here, in a couple months. From everything I understand, it's going to be the same hinge. I may be wrong, so don't take my word for it, but all the rumors are out right now that it's the same hinge, right? They just added a few tweaks here and there. But look, no links. So in this hinge, you basically have the screen, these two parts where the screen meets when it's closed. When you open it up, they meet right here at this endpoint, at the apex right here. So the Samsung's hinge does not have links. Now let's look at, actually let me go back here and type in Google Pixel Fold display hinge. Do we have another mock-up of that? Where are we at? Come on, Google. I know you got something. Some kind of dive. Here we go. Check this out. What do we got here? Well, these ads are slow to load, which is good for me. Okay, so, oh shit, y'all can't see it. Okay. So, Oppo, Pixel, and Samsung, kind of similar designs in their hinges. Now, each one of these companies have patents for each one of these hinges. So, even though it's a slightly modified design, you can get a patent and or make your claim for a patent. Because as you can tell, these little side nodes here are a little different. Now, it looks very different. So it appears, so look, I'm guessing Apple finally did it. They have all the money in the world now Samsung does too, but Apple really does, right? Aren't they the most valuable company in the world? Billions, trillions with a T. So they can pour as much money into their research and development team for this foldable device. I'm guessing, it's a pure guess, but I'm guessing they finally did it. Now, if they did do it, I will give them praise. I love to troll Apple. I'm not a big Apple fan. Y'all know that. I'll give them praise, right? Give praise where praise is due. If they found a way to make a foldable display with zero crease, my hat's off to them. Let's go back here and see, is there any other documents we can look at? I do not see it. So what do you guys think, right? Would y'all want, if now look, Apple's not going to put out a foldable iPhone 16, even though they apparently have the technology now. They're putting in a patent. I can guarantee you they have prototypes. I can guarantee you they have some iPhone foldables in the boardroom that they're all passing around. Would you prefer a Pro iPhone Fold? A Pro iPhone Flip and a regular iPhone Flip? Would you prefer it to be a little on the smaller side, or would you prefer it to be like a Samsung, where it's a 6.7-inch screen, but it's a 21 or 22 by 9 aspect ratio, where it's real tall and skinny? What do you guys think? Because I'm under the assumption they're just going to put out one model. I think putting out two might be too much. I think if they just start off with one, because what if it's a flop? What if, just putting out one model, adding an extra model, tons of manpower, tons of time, tons of money. They can afford to have a mess up because they're so big and massive in the tech world, but they don't want to. They'll definitely going to avoid a mess up. And they know the market, they know their consumer, they know who's going to buy a product, who's interested in the products, and who's not, right? I think putting out a if they can do a either 6.7 or 6.8, maybe not a 22 by 9 aspect ratio like the Z Flip 6, because it's pretty tall and skinny. Maybe do like a 21 by 9 aspect ratio where it's just a little wider. Now, cameras, all that said, the batteries are going to be really small. It should be pretty cool, but I'm not expecting iPhone Flip to come out. Probably not this year. So not a iPhone 16. Possibly not an iPhone 17, but I think my iPhone 18 is when you should, is my guess, is when you'll see a iPhone flip. So that's not this year. That's not next year. It's the year after. So why would it take roughly 2.5 years, right? Because these things take a lot of time. Especially one of the issues with Samsung foldables is that they're so fragile. I've told my story many times where I broke my flip and it just fell off, 16 inches off of our hardwood floor, not even on concrete. Screen busted. Very fragile. I think this is going to require a lot of testing from Apple, testing the market too, right? So where do you put the pricing at? If they do I would assume it would have pro features. Obviously, I don't know about the cameras. If they can put their pro version cameras in this flip, that will be badass, because that's one thing Samsung does not do that upsets me, is put their flagship sensors in their foldable devices, right? So I think they're going to change that this year for the Flip 6. They're going to put the 50 megapixel camera. They're going to put the same camera setup that you see on the S24 Plus. They're going to put on the Z Fold 6 and Z Flip 6 this year. So they are going to upgrade the cameras. Long time coming. But, so I guess technically it would be their flagship cameras in a foldable. But I think Apple would probably need to do that. Probably would ask, I'm assuming, probably around $1,200-1,300. Probably be an exclusive. Probably going to jack the price up because it is iPhone's first foldable now. I don't think I would buy it. It might sell out, but remember, just keep this in mind. Any company that has a new SKU, a new product, is genuine, and especially something that's on the cutting edge of technology, typically not a good buy. Is that every case? No. But look, Pixel Fold, the OG Pixel Fold, I was going to buy it. I did not, thank God, because I knew it was going to have some issues, right? They gotta put a model out. They got to give it to the public. And then they know there's going to be bugs. There's going to be a couple issues that come up. And typically on the second version, when they release a new updated version the year after, is when they have a pretty good grip on things and start knowing what to do and what not to do, right, with products. Look at the Apple Vision Pro. I was watching a couple of videos last night. Nobody's buying that. Apple cut the production of the Apple Vision Pro by 50%. Huge cut in production, meaning their projected sales for the Apple Vision Pro is basically cut in half. I mean, that's a huge disaster. I mean, I don't say huge disaster, but not a good look, right? Somebody's getting fired. So something's happening. Well, they have major issues with the Vision Pro. Battery life doesn't last long. Only a couple hours. It's expensive as hell. The base model, walking out, is $3,500, but after taxes is $4,200, and that's the base. And storage in that base model goes quick within a few weeks. So you're going to want the upgraded version. So, these are, and it's heavy, right? There's numerous people, reviewers that said their neck hurts because it's heavy. It's on your head all the time. So, and not to mention the apps, the app developers. The developers are pissed at Apple, and a lot of them, there's not many apps to use with the Apple Vision Pro. So what's the point of buying it? And that's why they cut production. Nobody's buying it. So you have to be wary of first gen products. So again, if whenever they release this, look, if y'all want one, more power to you. Go ahead and get one. But all I know is you've been warned. You've been warned, right? Ashton, what's going on, brother? Damn, oh, there you are. Good to see you, man. Thank you for joining us today. Let's see here. I believe that was it. So let's get into... I believe it would sell well. I believe it would sell very, very well. But look, Apple's not going to make it like... Okay, so here's like... Each company has their own philosophy in manufacturing when it comes to products, right? Ferrari, the car, classic manufacturing sales strategy that dates back to the very beginning. Ferrari only makes, after they do market research and they're coming out with a new car, right? Even after the new car is out every year, how many of these cars do they make? Ferrari estimates, well, we think, after a ton of research, we think we're going to sell 1,000 of these Ferraris, 1,000 of them. Okay, so what Ferrari does is they make one less than what they believe they will sell. So if they believe they're going to sell 1,000 new Ferraris, they make 999. And look, every company's different. There's no right and wrong. The only right way to do it is if you're successful, correct? So there's many different ways to get to that end point. It's just different philosophies. I think Apple does have a hit on their hand. I think there's Apple users that are envious of the foldables that some of our Android manufacturers put out. But that's not going to entice an iPhone user to switch to Motorola. That's not going to entice a lifelong iPhone user to switch to Samsung just because they have a flip phone. It's not enough. So I think they know, Apple knows what they have on hand, and they're probably just going to release one model. They're not going to do like Samsung, where it's got a big one and a small one, a flip and a fold, right? They're going to do it. They're going to do one and do it. Try to get it just right. And they're typically good with new products, which is why Apple Vision Pro was a kind of a shock. And I think they're trying to get this flip just right. They've been working on it for years, and this is the first sign that they actually got something on their hands. So I think they will sell a ton of these. High demand.